A nation without education will not know its worth. What I'm about to say is going to determine whether you know your worth. You don't know? And this is not book education, but it's your present.
There's businesses built on passion. There's businesses built on great ideas. Then there's businesses built purely on demand. Then there's businesses built on profit making. For you, in the places that you've been around and the people that you've talked to, and even putting yourself in the picture, what is the most fertile way to start a business for you, and what do you need as the seed of a business idea?
All those things, all the things you mentioned, all of them need to be done at 100 at a certain time. You're gonna do it for nothing, you better love it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And when there's a need for it, you better not be under pressure. You know, when you're under pressure, you gotta go, but why did I start it? You know what I mean? So, you know, anything that you do, Scoop, has to be passion. You have to go, even if like they ain't getting paid, I'm gonna do this. Because all we have is culture. All we have is conviction. And if we have conviction and culture, that's our wealth. That's all black people have. And you know what? This is how they f***ed us up with this whole affirmative action, BE, and all this tender shit, because now they've taken away us going through the journey of greatness, and they've told us there's a shortcut. Now you get more black people looking for a shortcut, and black entrepreneurs looking for a shortcut than looking for what is the journey I need to walk. Because you know, when all black people start working the journey, especially all the entrepreneurs, that's how we start taking over the economy.
Yeah. The kids right now, because they see the famous people who don't even have that much money, but we are so bent on getting these awesome brands and putting our lives up on the Instagram, that our rewards, we are spending them in a certain way that is very instant, you know? Can you just please divulge on the way that you've changed your mannerisms and your behavior towards money and the things that it brings?
At some point when I was young and I needed validation, and I thought validation came from me wearing a Burberry jacket, parking a Porsche or an Aston Martin outside, wearing a Rolex watch. I still love the finer things in life, but I felt better, and I felt it makes me to become somebody. Where I am right now, I'm the one that makes this Amsterdam cap look cool.
Showcase.
I'm the one that's making some kid out there want this cap. Do you understand? But it's because I've grown to understand that my validation is not on material things. But I didn't know that when I was 20-something. Somebody the other day was saying to me, hey man, why would Casper buy 2 Rolls Royces or Bentleys? I'm like, let him buy them. It's his money though. Let him experience it. We don't have a lot of wins when we come up. And anytime that we feel we need to celebrate and get some sort of anything to show our successes or celebrate our successes, why not? And this guy says, but he's making mistakes. Let him make those mistakes.
That's what he's young
because
for.
that's how you learn. That's how I learned. So I'm the best person to teach about it because I've had that. But then again, as you get a little bit older, you get to understand that the fame is not going to be there forever. What is plan B, or what are you building for the rest of your life? Because you're not just gonna live until you're 30 or until you're 40. You're gonna live until you're 60, 70, 80, bruh. And the relationship with money has been bad because of our background, especially a lot of us as black people where we come from. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not gonna stand here and try and say I'm a saint. I made a lot of mistakes. And when I say mistakes, I had a great life. I enjoyed life, and I don't regret it at all. But right now, I need to make sure that in 2030, which is 12 years from today, I build wealth for my daughter. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Firstly, you and I know, Baba, even as black males, we're hurting, you know? We're hurting.
On different levels too.
Even if putting an adjective, so even black, I think just young people firstly, young people of this continent, males of this continent, and then even more hectically, the women of this continent.
Straight up.
You get what I mean? If you don't stand for anything, you're gonna fall for everything. So if at home, you know, I mean, like, for example, with my mom, we would sit, came from a large family, so I always ate with cousins and things like that as well. So the dish up for us all at the same time, right? If I looked at your plate, compared it to mine, no, it's a big problem.
Huge
you know what I mean?
problem.
So for me, I still use that lesson. Like, I mustn't look at...
Don't compare
I can't compare myself, you know what I mean? So if I'm at a restaurant and someone is ordering a bottle of champagne, I don't need to order a bottle of champagne. And if you know what I mean? If I'm at a mall and someone is driving a flashy car, I don't need to be driving that flashy car. I made those mistakes. For me, when I was growing up, the first thing that I probably ever cried for out there, the Temba Lama Kumusha out there. It was a red 325 IS.
Sure.
And out there, I cried when I saw that thing. I cried. It was beautiful. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. But when I look back, you know why I cried? I knew that I'd never have it. And which is why, as soon as I made a little bit of money, I bought myself a red 325 IS to wipe my tears.
At least you don't ran through that, baby. At least you ran through it. You know, as much as I feel like, you know, it's not cool that we are deprived. I do feel like sometimes, because you never know how long you've got on this earth,
100%.
just to wipe your tears a little bit is necessary as well.
There's overindulgence, right? And then there's going for what you want, right? And then at the heart of it, there's stupidity. And there are people who really do stupid things, especially when it comes to money. You know what I mean? Most people who make money, who have got wealth, is because they're sitting on it, they're not spending it. You know what I mean? So it's those kind of things that we need to learn. You know, the culture of saving, almost like the culture of stuff that we were taught even in my grade 2 or whatever, of understand, or grade 4 rather, because I'm going through that now. My daughter's teaching me. You know, there's a big difference between a need and a want.
Overspending is a white and a black thing. Ain't nothing. It's nothing. You know, black people must make us feel like and say everything is in personality. My thing is that, like, while we're spending all this money, but what are we spending it on? My thing is that as a race, though, where is our money finishing, or where is our money being planted? And is it planting seeds so it kind of like creates other trees so they can create more seeds? And the thing is that, like, at the end of the day, you know, every generation started here. That's why, you know, you have cavemen. We don't understand this thing in this analogy in life. That's why we started as we're cavemen, when we were apes, whatever. People started apes, and then they get better, they get better, they get better. But what life was showing, God was saying, I'm doing my job in improving you in every generation. Your job is to take the knowledge, not the physical, take the knowledge, pass it on to every generation so they get better. So immediately when we start dropping the ball, we literally don't get better. That's why the world can't. It's like the marketing analogy. That's why the world doesn't get better, because we never teach our kids. You know, we never show our kids our struggles. We never show them the truth. We never teach them about money, etc., etc., etc. And that is the journey of wealth. And that is what's been taken away from Black South Africa to a point where we've been told that everything is a rush. So now, you know, apartheid was that mind that all the things that they said you can't have, now you're over-consuming them.
Yeah.
You're over-consuming them, that even in marketing they go, the consumer are black people. They're the new, because they know that they literally push this away from it. And when they remove you from something, immediately when they open that door, you're going to be the first one, and you're going to be buying and buying more than them. That's why they don't you look at the marketing billboards, they don't even have white people like that.
Anymore,
they probably have, and white people have more money. So now they've opened the doors for all these things, and we are coming in numbers and flocking, all these things we couldn't have. And once we have them, we're sitting there fat, and then we go, fuck, I got credit. You know, so, you know, all these things we couldn't have, they've literally prepared us for the next level of our lives, which is credit. Because, you know, even those that you can't afford, you just want it now. You're just greedy, you're gluttonous, you don't care about your people. You're just doing things there with the heart of, I want to show them, you know? And that's the black disease right now. It's gluttony, it's greed. That's what's killing this country, even to a point, you know?
We come from not having, we're not taught about entrepreneurship, business proposals, so on and so forth. We don't get capital from our uncles or our fathers. We have to go to financial institutions which are very stringent on passing down that capital to people in our kinds of situations with no collateral and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to find out from you if you feel like banks in South Africa are they willing to hear the black story when it comes to business, or are we all under one uniform and under one umbrella? This is the way it has to be. Do you think financial institutions, the traditional financial institutions, understand the speciality of the black situation?
They don't, but they do, but they refuse to. So I always say this, black men, you're on your own. That's how they will give you a loan to a house and you'll pay it over 20 years. They will give you a loan to a verpa and you'll pay it over 5 years. And if you calculate how much money you paid in 20 years,
crazy.
you've paid that 500,000 quadruple times. But you're asking for 200,000 to start a business. Half of that 500,000, you're not going to get that loan.
Sure. Has this
What is
happened
that?
to you?
It happens to everybody. You go get a loan to start a business, it's going to be tougher than you getting a loan to buy a car. Why is that? Tell me why is that? Because
they don't
a
want you
black
to
child is not
empower.
meant to be empowered. A black child is not, banks are not structured such that they accommodate the modern day entrepreneur. That's why I say to me, don't come and tell me that the way I'm marketing my drink is wrong. I should be doing it in a certain way, where your understanding comes from a perspective of somebody who's graduated in marketing. Maybe let's say you're marketing whatever, graduate, but you've read textbooks or you were taught about case studies of businesses that were started in Europe or in France. Even though you're a graduate, it's different. Even banks are the same. Banks still operate on policies that were drawn up. Obviously, banks are regulated by the government. And any loophole they find, they will do, as long as they're not breaking the law. Those policies do not favor those same black people to start their own businesses. Why is that? You know?
Sure.
And for me, that's exactly what I want to say. Black child, you're on your own. That's when you must just know that you're on your own. Any loophole that they will find to try and keep you down there, to try and keep you happy by getting you into debt, and you're going to get excited by flaunting things that are not yours, that are owned by the bank, they will do that. But it's just how the policies have been structured from back in the day. They do not favor black people starting their own businesses.
Power, or economical power, has to be around a certain circle for a long time.
Why?
Because if it's in that circle kind of controls everything. Now, as long as you feel that your value will be determined by that circle, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
People like us, we felt that when we rap, when we create, we felt that that's when we're worth R1 billion, R1 million. And because we created, that's how the money happened. You know, they're making us think like we have to start from the money and not from ourselves. The music analogy is just
It's universal.
It's the black analogy. If you from anywhere where you don't have anything, you need to use what you have. And you got to take ownership of what you have. What's been taken away with like business today is the entrepreneurship journey. And immediately when you remove the entrepreneurship journey, then you're selling people dreams. And that's what the South Africa is in a state of dreams.
When Brian and myself were talking about shares, Brian never cared for shares. It was because our credit was horrible. Myself was Chaba. You know, we had no credit. You know, so to open up a bank account, he's the one who came in and to a certain extent stood for surety and things like that as well. So, you know, dog, like it's easier to open up an account for impahla, cell phone, right? Car loan, right? More difficult to get a home loan, more difficult to get a business loan. But I can almost guarantee you now, those cultures, Jewish, Indian, who remember even, you know, like the whole fact with, you know, a dollar or rand circulates even within the community. You know, if you look at the most common thing amongst them is business culture. Kids grow up in a shop behind a counter and things like that as well. And also, here's the crazy thing though about those cultures. There are foreigners. There's people who arrived in Africa, so there is a survival element to it.
Yes.
See, now we're at home, so there's an element of complacency. But I think with us it's even worse, man. You know, we wait for government to do things. I've waited for government to see what we're doing, the magic that we're creating. I see it even with Soweto TV. Soweto TV is actually ahead of its of the game.
Very
you
much
know?
so.
And I'm not saying it because I'm involved, but like, in fact, I'm involved because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where people are blind to the fact that it's sitting on 3 million viewers. And for us, it's about expression. You know, it's about celebrating who we are. It's about, you know, more importantly, I think it's about self-determination. You know what I mean? We must own our own problems as well as the solutions.
Yes.
For me, I have an awesome saying, and I think that's my biggest fuel in terms of business. If you're born poor, it's not your fault. But if you die poor, it's your fault.
Sure.
Brands don't do things right the first time around because they have to motivate spend every year. So, you know, so a brand doesn't have to do it right. They just have to be present. You know what I mean? So we care about it doing right. We care about it. We care about it, the aesthetic. We care about how it lands to us. We care about how people embrace it, chew it, eat it, live it. They just want to be around you while you're chewing and eating. So, you know, I was sitting in these agencies, and at all times even when I was sitting in some brands, at all times I just felt like these guys just want to be around us. They don't want to change, you know. I say the power of changing any community is through perception. When you work to change people, you know, you get a special place in people's hearts. But you can only change people if you come from a world where you understand what needs to be changed. We are the only people who people will tell us how to sell with us. We're the only race that people will tell us how to sell with us. So this shows that, like, we are so disempowered, and we are so mentally and culturally we are so confused, you know, and our aspirations are literally our Western aspirations are literally diluting the foundation of who we really are, you know. And because our Western aspirations are so large, you know, they dilute who we really are, that we're gonna agree to everything because we want to be a part of that so badly. But
we want to be a part of it, not because of the work, but because of the rewards.
It's survival, reward, status. But you see, so that's the problem with black people. We really want to be a part of something that has nothing for us.
There's a threshold that black business hits. I mean, firstly, in partnerships.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have lifelong partnerships in black business.
No.
Let me start with that. Why do you think that is?
Earlier you spoke of our unity before 1994.
Yeah.
Our actual unity came from the fact that we had a common enemy, right, which was apartheid. And I think a common enemy that we have now is unemployment, drugs that are killing our communities. And I don't want to sound like a beauty queen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these problems are real, man, you know. Suicide is a big thing amongst youth, and also amongst grown folk
who've studied and they've got their diplomas and degrees and they can't find jobs. That's, I mean, it's not cool. And then that was on a personal level, right? Then on just on the ceiling that black business hits, why do you think that is? Is it a self-induced thing? Is it a macro external thing? But even myself, no matter how big I dream, no matter how much I foresee my dream and I'm actually doing it, it's like there's this constructed roof over my head, and maybe that's my fault of I'm doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that people are doing? Or is it something that's constructed? That's maybe what I want to ask.
I think some of my biggest battles are against myself.
Yeah.
And I really believe that most of our battles are against self.
I love that. I really do love that, because with every achievement or every decision that I've made that's been so pivotal in my life and been so beneficial, the joy didn't come from tweeting the victory. The joy didn't come from posting an Insta story about it. The joy really came with me going home, thinking about how many times I've sat on the couch, slept, dreaming about what just happened. And the victory was really like believing that, following through with this thing and this thought that I've had, and now it's coming to fruition. I love that you said the war is between ourselves, and the battle and the victory is more about self.
It's about self. And I've failed more than I've succeeded. Like you almost like lose like you love it, and you win like you used to it.
Sure.
Like right now I'm reading what am I reading? What is it called? Innovators.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, you know, that's where the answer is going to be in terms of, number one, identifying who some of those innovators are. So a lot of youth, or rather a lot of young people, even about use your time wisely, man. You know, because that's all you have, really. You know, that's all you have. Like use the time wisely. Whether it's reading, whether it's connecting with like-minded people, whether it's networking, but use that time wisely. You know what I mean? I know, including myself, sometimes when I'm down, hey Baba, it feels good to just stay there. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I love that faith.
But you have to get up.
Yeah.
You have to get up, man. You have to get up, like at all times. And unfortunately with us, we've got a huge challenge where there's going to be a lot of falling, and we must know that.
Yes, there's a threshold for black businesses, simply because we literally always try to tap into westernized money. We're literally trying to tap into westernized marketing systems. We're literally trying to tap into brands that are being sold from overseas who are saying they want the African market. So they're asking their American counterparts who are in South Africa or chains to do things. So all the time, I don't care whether you call it Nike, whether you call it Coca-Cola, all the time that you're trying to like knock on that door, you are literally like dealing with a conversation that started in America or wherever else in the world, and it came down, and now you think that you can tap into that money within a relationship as just an African. As an African, you think you want to tap into that money, but these guys have been having conversations before you were probably even born. That's the problem. Africans are trying to tap into what doesn't belong to them. What belongs to them is the money they spend to these guys, but then they don't stop spending. Africans aren't spending Africans aren't spending towards Africans.
Dr. Motlana started MTN. MTN is an international company today.
Yeah, you told me about this. I love that you brought this back.
He started, it's an international company today. People bought into it. They've even rebranded. People don't even know that MTN was from the Motlana surname, MTN, Motlana.
Wow.
But now it's mobile telephone networks, you know. But it's a black business and it succeeded. It's on that level where now it's got international partners. I don't even think it's local anymore. It's the same thing with Appetizer. For it to be bought by SAB, what is this, Coca-Cola, and it's a South African brand owned by Cape Town. Brands like there's a lot of even SAB, South African company, which has been bought by AB InBev for 3 trillion, etc. So, but there's not a lot of black businesses that get to that level. That's why people like myself want to do that or are doing that. I was invited to an event where I looked around and there was only 4 blacks in that room. At that party, maybe a party of about 150 people, but there's less than 5 of us blacks. And I looked around and I'm invited in that space by one of my mentors. The type of people I was meeting there, the conversations I was having, I'm like, I've been running more fast, struggling, going up and down for 4 years. These people are all at my disposal because when I speak to them, I'm in mergers and acquisitions. I've helped SAB do this and that back in 2005. That company, I did this and that. Those people are all in that room, but how do you get to that room?
You need someone.
How was I going to get into that room if I did not have a Jewish mentor? And the information of how we take these businesses overseas or we get to achieve that level are through those types of people, because those people are a few people. And if you're not in those circles, trust me, you're not going to penetrate in there and get into whatever you want to get into. And I'm not saying it can't be done without them, but it's because they've been running this game for so many years. The only way you can win against them is exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to the township, I'm selling my brand through students, through young entrepreneurs, through unemployed brothers and sisters. I'm going to the wholesalers, to the Indian community. I'm doing things that they can't do, that they're not familiar with. Because if I go their way and into their system, I'm going to be blocked out like I have been. So it's about me coming up with other alternative ways of getting out there. ADRIAN GORE only owns less than 10% of Discovery, but it's an international company. So you might be able to achieve that dream, but you need people to help you.
It's a give and a go. My brother, thank you so much for the time you've given us. Thank you so much for the knowledge. Talking to you and talking with you, it just always leaves ripples effects. So I hope the kids out there have learned something, man. Just have the dream and just put your best foot forward for your PALLADIUM.
You're on your own,
Joe.
I must say this, you're on your own, Joe.
I think reiterate that.
I must say this, you're on your own.
I need to hear it as much as they do.
You're on your own, Joe. Like nobody owes you anything. Don't think anybody owes you anything. Hey, the government, this. You are on your own. Nobody will do anything for you if you're not gonna go get it. Trust me. The people that you look up to today that you think like you, wait until you start asking for money from them one day. Nobody's gonna give you anything. You are on your own, black child. You are on your own. Learn from me. You are on your own.
I'm interested in the kid who's in Soweto, who's in Katlehong, who I can't even help, because I don't have the resource, The kid who's in, the kid that like a white company can't help because they don't understand him as a resource. I'm speaking about that kid that's sitting on a gold mine and that's his mine. For me, I told people, I said, there was no rap, but I'ma make it work. I told people that I ain't about to be hired by Vuzu, SABC1 or whoever, they not gonna hire me, but I'm gonna do it myself. You know, I'm that kid who literally no one was gonna open the door for me. I literally like declared that I will open the door for myself. Everybody's dealing with me because I literally dealt with the situation that nobody wanted to deal with. I'm not here to say I'm better than Scoop or my reign and Squatter Camp is better than Casper's. I'm here to say I'm this culture. I'm part of what Casper's doing. I'm part of what Scoop is doing. I'm part of what every other black kid is trying to do out there in the streets. I am a part of that, you know, because I come from a world when I never wanted to work for a big company because I couldn't see how I fitted in a culture from a company that was westernized. I literally was going to be sitting in my head thinking that I'm not good enough, but I have so much potential. So, you know, I have to, it's my job like every other black kid. It's my job to find the $1 million, billion-dollar mine in my heart and my mind. And once I find that, it's my job to literally go, I will not stop digging and digging and digging. And every day when I'm here doing what I'm doing, I'm digging and I'm digging.
Straight up, man. I think you've said more than enough, bro. Thank you so much. And we're discussing this topic in his office, and the employees are here. And I'm sure, you know, sometimes you have a boss and you're working for someone, you're like, going to work. But just to get an insight on how someone you are working with or working for thinks about what they're doing, it allows the people that are working for the same goal to just be able to get up in the morning and go, yeah, actually, I get the bigger picture now. And this is a bigger picture that most people in corporations never, ever, ever get because they don't even know who their boss is. They never even seen their face. So shout outs to that. And on another tip, you know, I've worked for stations, I've worked radio and television, and I'm working for them right now. And I have been telling them about the resource that I am and what they need to tap into where I'm concerned. And I've constantly been getting the backhand. And I am proud to say that you have given me an opportunity to do what I feel I want to do and what I feel that I bring to the culture on Slicker on Life. So check it out. It's called Catching Waves with Scoop Makatsini, right on his platform. I learned from you, brother. I learned. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We're definitely going to keep this one rolling. Palladium might have given us the means to do these conversations now, but I'm sure that something will spring up from this, and there'll be so much more we can touch on, because not only is it for you, but it's also for us as well. They say when you're preaching, you're not only preaching to the congregation, you're preaching to yourself as well.
And remember, there's nothing for free. If it is for free, you're probably the product.
Sure.
I just wanted to throw that. I learned that yesterday.
Sure.
That was free knowledge. You the product.
And give us skills that equate to